Hello, everyone. My name is Krish. Welcome to our September podcast with the Tech Titans 25783. We are a second year FTC team, which stands for First Tech Challenge, which is their robotics program. It is mostly for 7th to 12th graders, and it's a really great program to work with the community, build robots, and have a great experience in STEM. And here we have Miss Erika. She's a coordinator for First in Texas and has quite a bit of experience and also participated in First when she was a child. So here we have her here to talk a little bit about herself. Now I'll have my teammate Anish introduce himself.
Hi, my name is Anish. I'm a returning member of the Tech Titans 25783 FTC team. I found out about this through our school. Krish was reaching out to students to start this team.
So a little bit of history about our team, Tech Titans 25783. We are part of the Centennial High School Robotics Club, which we actually started at our school last year in 2024. We currently have 3 teams that are part of the organization, with 2 being rookie teams this year. And last year we were the finalists at the UIL State Championship. So we hope that you're able to enjoy and learn a lot from Erika, and we're looking forward to hearing from her. Erika, why don't you start off by introducing yourself?
Yeah, so my name is Erika Diggs. I wear many hats in the First community, but some of the biggest hats I wear is the title of alumni. I'm very proud of the fact that I am a First alumni and I get to engage with future alumni as well. But I also wear the hat of a regional head referee, which I was kind of thrown into the position, but have fallen in love with it. And then I also have the really cool opportunity of working for a First partner. So I work for First in Texas here in the state of Texas as a program leader for the First Access program. And we could talk about that a little bit later. But I wear many hats in the First community, and I'm really excited that I do.
Krish, you muted.
So we can start with like the questions that we have. The first question that we have is, how were you first introduced to the First program, and what inspired you to get involved as a student?
So I actually got introduced to robotics as like a scheduling fluke. It was a pure accident that I got placed into robotics. I started out in a First adjacent program in the Panhandle of Texas called Gear, which is Lego robotics, but it's not the official First Lego League robotics. Coming out of like middle school, I was in the same building. It was a 6 through 12. And I was like, I really like the robotics thing and I want to do more with it. And so we got the opportunity to have a robotics class. So we did the big 3 robotics programs. We did Best Robotics, Vex Robotics, and First Robotics. That very first year, it was wild. But we found that First kind of fit us a little bit better. So we stuck with the First program. So our team, we started back in 2014. Oh my gosh. The team was founded back in 2014, and it's still an active team number, which I'm also really proud of. So I was roped in due to a scheduling conflict, but I kind of fell in love with it and all that it entails. I was not a coding kid. I was not the building kid, but I was the judge kid. I was the one who really enjoyed talking in front of, people like I'm doing right now, and really selling a story about a team and community. And so that's kind of what I got out of, my years in FTC. I'm also an alumni of an FRC team, 1817, Llano Estacado Robo Raiders. It was founded, back in like 2008. I've met lifelong friends on it. I've also met my husband on the team. So it's just, a little bit of my life. But First is like ingrained in me and all the core values that it's provided.
That's really nice. Looking back, how did your time as a First student in First shape your skills, mindset, or career path? When did you know that you wanted to do after high school, and what helped guide that decision?
So we all know FIRST, and it has those core values, and one of them is teamwork and having fun inside, doing what we do. And so for me, being a part of a FIRST team, both the FTC and an FRC team, really taught me that teamwork is more of a valued skill than like programming might be. I'm not the hard skills, I'm more of the soft skills kind of person, but it's really amazing to see how my skills that I developed on FTC and FRC really developed into how I am now. You've seen me on field, I'm very loud, but I also want to make sure that when something happens, that it's not me against you, we're in this together because I want you to succeed. And so it's a lot of that collaboration and that community that is kind of guided me through this path. Out of high school, it was kind of a weird spot, didn't quite know what I wanted to do. And so my husband and I moved to Fort Worth a couple of years ago, and I had the opportunity of working for FIRST in Texas, which matches this beautiful culmination of I really love working with people with disabilities and special needs and making the world much more accommodating so that we're meeting in the middle for them. But I also really still love FIRST. I still volunteer, I dedicate my time to it. So FIRST Access is the job that I do, kind of brings those two things together, which I cannot express how amazing it is that there was a job like that out there.
It's really nice to hear that from you. For our next question, what is your current role in FIRST and outside of FIRST, and how does your work impact students and teams?
Yeah, so I'll say I have two roles in FIRST. I have the volunteering role, which I'm a head referee here in North Texas. And so I'm also on the intercommittee that helps deliver programs or events to teams. And I found a immense amount of satisfaction to that because I get to know how hard it is to actually run an event, but I also get to know how hard it is to maintain the event. But I still enjoy it. And then, so that's my volunteering role with FIRST. And then my job for FIRST in Texas is I'm the FIRST Access program leader. FIRST Access is a program that's specially designed for students with disabilities or special needs that need those extra accommodations, or for kiddos that might not be able to engage with FIRST in the mainstream. We've all been to a FIRST event. I've seen you both at a FIRST event. We know that it can be really chaotic and really hectic. And so I get to work with FIRST in Texas to create an environment for people who might not be able to, engage with mainstream FIRST.
That was really nice. So you specialize with kids with special needs?
Mm-hmm.
That's really nice to hear. How have you seen FIRST evolve since your time as a student, and how do you see it evolve in the future?
Oh, so I graduated in 2018, so it's only just a couple of years ago, right? Not that long. I don't want to think about it too hard. But from the moment that I started as a student and the moment that I'm in right now, I think we've and I can talk to the panhandle of Texas, and I can also talk to North Texas, that we're moving to a position where we're getting back in touch with what the kids need, what the students need, because it has slowly evolved like across FIRST programs, both FLL, FTC, and even FRC, where we really, really focus on the competition. And there's a phrase that has been given to us, I believe by Dean Kamen, where it's, the students are building the robots are building the students. I'm paraphrasing it a little bit. But these robots in these competitions are actually supposed to develop, future leaders, future collaborators, co-workers. I always say it that I want the students on field to be the person next to me at an event when they're volunteering, because I know the skills that y'all develop as a team working through this chaos will help me in the future, because I love head roughing, I love volunteering, but I don't want to do it forever. And so I want students to join me or say, hey, what Erika does is really, really cool. I want to get to the point where I can help her out. And so I think we're FIRST is getting back to the idea of reminding ourselves that it's for the kids, that I'm here not because of any other reason, but I want y'all to succeed as students and as leaders.
That was a really great answer. Uh, what do you think are your predictions for the Decode game, and how do you see it challenging and inspiring teams?
So I actually can't answer this. Oh, so I have the luxury of signing something called an NDA, a non-disclosure agreement. So on an unspecified time, unspecified date, I am receiving the game, and I already know some things about it, but I can't say anything about it. But I do think it is going to be challenging. I do think it's going to be really amazing for the students to see the progression. We're already moving in line with some FRC language, which I do think they've gone through the growing pains of what do the manuals need to look like? How do we word things? And so I think first tech challenge is moving to a point where we're getting y'all ready and set up to be, like critical thinkers when we come to, games like what we're about to see. Oh, it's so hard not saying anything, but I gotta hold off on that one. I mean, I guess we'll figure it out here in a couple of weeks. September 6th, right?
Yeah, September 6th.
Not far away at all. Goodness.
Mm-hmm. What do you think about the new competition advancement structure and the new awards?
Yeah. So I love it. I really, really enjoy it. I think that there's a lot of value in it. It comes back to the focus of it's not just, judging, and it's not just competition. Something that you might see with FLL in particular. I'm sorry if you can hear my cat in the background. She's having a little bit of a hard time. She just wants some attention. But with the new advancement structure, I think it's going to remind us that all of the work that you do does amount to something. And it also is a really good stepping point. If you see that, oh, well, I got this for this award, but all the awards are kind of ranked similarly. So that means all of the awards are still worth my time. In the past, it's kind of looked like, oh, well, if you get this award, this one's technically better than that award. Because we want to encourage our students to actually be working towards something that means a lot. An Inspire award is still really amazing. But it's also what about the students who do have really, really cool control? What about the students who do have a stellar design? And then what about those students who maybe don't fit into those categories, but are judging? They got the judge's choice. I remember as a team, we weren't a good game team. We weren't a super great judging team. I'm humble enough to say that we weren't good on either of those, but it really meant a lot. And it was really empowering for us to receive those judging awards because we were like, oh, what we're doing, it means something to somebody. And so that really pushed us forward. I do think there's a lot of room for growth. And I think it's just a really cool incentive for teams to be a well-rounded, type of team.
I agree, because now teams can't just focus on outreach and only go for Inspire. They have to have a good robot. Because in the past, some teams would just focus on Inspire and make their way to Worlds that way. It's more fair for all teams. It's leveling the playing field.
I am so sorry to interrupt. I'm so sorry. I am really excited to see if we get a team that walks out with 130 some odd points because they ticked the boxes on all of it. I've done a little bit of math. If you have Inspire and your first place and your winning captain, and a couple of other things, you can walk out with almost 130 some odd points, 132, I think. So I want to see that happen because that seems like a lofty goal.
I think that can be a goal for us this season.
You know what? I'll put it on the calendar too. I'll be keeping my eye on it.
Yeah.
What is the number one piece of advice you'd share with rookie teams starting their journey in first?
I could say all the cliche things. Step up and ask questions. Don't be scared to ask questions of people you don't know. I think it's so exciting, at least as a head referee, I can speak for this. If a student comes to me and they're like, I don't understand what you're talking about, Erika, that is more valuable than a student just walking off and not asking any questions, because a question is an opportunity for learning. Even for me, if a student, I love when this happens, when a student catches me on a rule. I love when this happens. I think it's really amazing because I'm not an expert. I might read the manual and I might go to a whole bunch of events, but that doesn't mean I'm an expert. Students who are dedicating their time to a craft, whether it's being the expert on the rules or being the driver or being the human player, they are experts. I'm just the one calling the rules, right? I'm just calling fouls. But when a student catches me on something, I love it. So stand up and ask the questions because you never know if it might actually swerve in your favor. I do think it's really also important to remember that all of the little skills that you work on do equal something bigger. You can always think of like a rubber band ball, right? I added another skill. I did another season. I had some challenges. Sooner or later, that ball is going to become so heavy that you can't even carry it anymore. And so all of those little skills that you build up will sooner or later equal something that is far beyond where you started.
That's a really great piece of advice. And I think a lot of rookie teams can really learn from that and take that so that they can perform at a higher level next year and just have fun, honestly. That's one of the biggest things.
I mean, it's one of our core values. If I'm not having fun, what's the point, right?
Yeah.
Y'all were at Cowtown, right? Yeah. I mean, like, I was in a cow costume.
Yeah.
I was dying inside, but it was so fun to see everybody having a great time, because like that's what it's about. I want to make sure that this is a fun experience for everybody. And if somebody walks away saying that was terrible, I didn't do something right. But if at least, a handful of kids are like, Erika's kind of weird, I vibe with it. Do kids say that anymore? I don't know. I'll figure it out later. But it's all about having fun and that collaboration. And so I'm really excited for students to actually experience that, especially if they're rookies.
Thank you. And the next question, what advice do you want to give to students trying to figure out what they want to do after high school?
Ooh, this is a tough one. I can go with a very stern, like, authoritative one, or I can go with a very relaxed approach. So I'll try and meet in the middle. It's super important to find what you enjoy doing and then exploring what are the fringes of that. All of the classes that I've taken, the jobs that I've done, all of them kind of revolved around this concept of data analytics, right? I love numbers, I love data, I love tracking things. Even as a head referee, I'll send emails to my head referees, be like, how was your event? What was the number one fouls called? Like, I was already constantly collecting information. And so I was pushing the fringes of what I really like doing, right? And I kind of found a bit of a passion. So to circle back, find what you really enjoy doing and then find the fringes of it, because you never know what kind of jobs are out there. Because first isn't just about the hard skills, it's also about the soft skills and learning how to use them, interchangeably almost.
That's really great. And for the last question, is there anything else that you want to add on? Any other last piece of advice that you have for teams for the next season or in general?
I think in general, something that I would love for teams in Texas to do is to really look at, I'll talk for us here in North Texas. I also come from Panhandle. I'm going to bring that in a second. But looking at what do we have, right? What do we do well? What do we not do well? And what is the other person doing, right? So we in North Texas, we have a lot of teams. And so we have a really big community. But if we go to Panhandle, they're a little bit more rural, they're a little bit more spread out, but they still do some things really, really well. And so I think my advice and kind of that tack on is look at what other people are doing to see if you can do better, but never assume that what you're doing is the way.
Thank you so much for joining us today for our podcast. And we really hope that everyone is able to learn from your experience and grow.
Yeah, I'm so excited, and thank you all so much. This is my very first podcast that a team has asked me to be on. And so I've been telling everybody about it because I was so excited to be able to talk with y'all. So
thank you.
So
we really enjoyed having you here. And you're actually our first ever podcast for the Tech Titans 257.
Amazing. So. Yeah. And then I can even reach out to First in Texas, our comms people, and help promote it too. Because what y'all are doing is really impressive and really exciting, because it takes a lot of courage to be like, can you come talk with us? So I'm really excited, and thank you all so much.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.